everybody. What's going on? Michael here in my studio. First of all, guys and girls, I hope I don't bore you today, but this is definitely, I haven't done a Facebook Live in a long time. And this is more for all you musicians out there, for all the non-musicians out there. You might get a little bored, make a sandwich, a cup of soup, a cup of coffee, and kick back. And I'm just going to kind of run you through this new Michael Sweet Theta ISP Theta Pro, yellow and black, beautiful box here. I'm really excited about. I'm also going to run you through the beginning to now evolution of the Stryper guitar tone. Okay, so that might be the boring part, but it's a passion of mine and something I'm really excited about. And anyway, so I'm going to just show you real quick a couple things about this box. My strings are old, so the intonation is terrible. My apologies on tuning. Not too bad. So this is the new Michael Sweet box. They made a red one. They still make. And this has some different features. Not very many, because the red one was almost perfect for me. Obviously, I wanted one that was in yellow and black, the signature Stryper colors that everybody knows us for. And I wanted a few extra things added. I wanted a tuner, that was really important to me. Some extra EQ on the front end, pre-distortion. And a few extra effects. A pitch shift, which I use live, so I don't have to change guitars. We drop down a step, half step, on certain songs. And you just hit that button and boom, you're there like that. So it makes it really nice, really quick, less instruments to travel with, less instruments to string and tune, and it's great. As long as there's no latency, and this doesn't have much latency at all. That's the problem with a lot of the drop boxes. You get a latency, so when you're playing, there's a delay. From what you're actually playing, there's a delay in the sound itself, the audio you're hearing of the guitar, and that creates a real problem. It doesn't feel good to play. This doesn't have that. So anyway, it's got those features. It's got a rotary feature, which is killer, that I use a lot. And that's about it. They may add down the road a ground lift and a phase switch. I haven't had any problems with that whatsoever. Sometimes if I run a DI, which I'm doing now, stereo, and the amp out, and I feed a couple of amps, I'll get a ground issue. What I'll do is I'll just put a lift on one of the amps and it goes bye-bye. This is a digital all-in-one pedal, but it sounds analog. It sounds like a bunch of analog pedals versus a bunch of digital pedals. And that's why I was sold on this the minute I heard it. I was able to instantly, within 5 minutes, dial up this kind of a sound. And you can kick on a chorus. Chorus is outstanding. It's a quad chorus, and it just sounds killer. that through a big system sounds absolutely out of this world, insane. My brother heard it on tour every day at sound check, and he would describe it as a giant robot coming to kill everyone. I thought that was hilarious. He really did. And then you can make it dry. This is my dry sound, but I've got the delay programmed in there. I keep it off, except for solos. I'll kick it on. And then there's a boost over here. You can adjust how much you want of a boost in terms of dB. It's killer. But here's dry. And it closes down. There's an ISP decimator noise reduction system in here too. So you can set it, and what's great about it is it's not a gate. It doesn't chop off your notes. Okay? It just closes down very nicely. You can hear there's no noise. Now if I shut that off, there's a pretty good amount of noise. I'm going to go right now. Can't really hear it. Not a lot of noise, but it's going. Gone. There. Gone. Okay, so it's a wonderful, wonderful noise reduction. I think it's the best in the world, period. Buck, who owns and runs and creates ISP stuff, he came from Rocktron. Everybody's familiar with Rocktron. And he created a very popular pedal called the Decimator. That's in here. Okay, everybody uses the Decimator. It's the best noise reduction unit out there. They make pedals. They make a rack mount version. ISP is just brilliant company. And if you don't know about ISP, you should, because they make the best stuff out there. It's solid, roadworthy, and it sounds incredible. So anyway, I'm not trying to be a salesman. I'm just telling you what I know, and that's all. So there's dry. Yahweh. So right now you're hearing this direct only. There's no amp, and it's through my Fostex powered monitors. You know, they sound good, but they don't sound amazing. When you hear this through a full-on sound system at a venue, it is monstrous. And you know, Eddie Trunk, we just did the Monsters of Rock cruise, and Eddie Trunk came up to me. We were talking about guitar tones, and he said that and Night Ranger, and I have to agree with him. I love Night Ranger's tones. They're totally different. But he said that Stryper and Night Ranger set the guitar bar for guitar tones on the boat. There were a lot of bands on that boat, okay? A lot of players. That's how good this thing sounds. It's killer. Absolutely killer. So anyway, I want to give you a real quick breakdown, and just so you know I'm here. Hey guys, hello. I got my snow cap on because I just went out and shoveled snow. It's cold here, okay? So that's why I got this on. Just letting you know. Quick evolution of Stryper. When I was 12 years old, I bought a Electro Harmonix little muff, and it plugged into your guitar. And then I heard the Boston album when I was 13, and I started my quest trying to find the best tone possible. And I started going to pawn shops and music stores, tried all kinds of distortion boxes, and I stumbled upon a Line 6 head made by Gibson. And I bought it, brought it home, and there was a preamp out on the back of that, and it also had a little parametric EQ on the front. I ran out of the back, preamp out into a Marshall, adjusted that little preamp, that little parametric EQ knob to, I believe, around 750 or 800, and boom, the Stryper sound was born right then and there. I used to take that head to Gazzari's, and I would hide it behind my cabs, my Marshalls, and all the guys in Rat would come up to me and say, Robin Crosby, Stephen Piercy, Chris, they would come up to me and say, dude, How are you getting that sound? And I would hide that, and I'd take them around back and show them, but I wouldn't show other people. And they would flip out because it sounded so killer. But it was a head. I had to lug it around. So eventually that morphed into a parametric, Furman parametric PQ3, because it was a little small one-space rack, and that was the Stryper tone that you hear on every album. Every single album has had that Furman parametric in terms of in the 80s, okay, in the early 90s, up to Against the Law. You fast forward now, I was using the Tech 21 Paradriver, which is a parametric EQ, same kind of thing. But I was always seeking out a different tone, an all-in-one box I could fly with. And when you're playing guitar, you want a warm-sounding analog. That's the goal, is to have that warm, creamy, like just fat guitar tone. You don't want hi-fi, digital-sounding tone. That's not the goal, okay? Maybe for a hi-fi stereo system, yeah, but not for guitar. So this is the box that I heard, well, the red one, that I heard that sounded to my ears like analog pedals. It doesn't sound digital. It is digital, but it sounds analog. It's warm, you know, and it just is. It's just got this fat, chunky, warm sound. It's very reminiscent, almost identical to the Stryper sound from 1985, 86, 87, and 88. It's that same tone, okay? Absolutely. And it blew my mind. So I started using the red pedal. I used it all last tour, and then Buck and Shelly over at ISP were very kind enough. God bless them. I love them. They're the sweetest people. They were kind enough to make me my own pedal. Something I've wanted my whole life. Just to show people, you know, how hard I've worked and what's come of it. And it's that tone, that Stryper tone. You know, love it or hate it, we have our own tone. It's our own signature sound. No other guitar tone sounds like Stryper. Boston has their own tone. Eddie has his own tone. A lot of other bands, though, don't. They kind of have that same kind of plug straight into a Marshall or Fender kind of thing, and that's cool. That's great. But this is the Stryper tone. The minute you hear it, you know it's Stryper. There's no denying that tone. It's the Stryper tone. And it's like if you were to take, you know, Randy Rhoads, like I said, Randy Rhoads, Eddie Van Halen, Boston, a little Brian May, Queen, and mix it with, you know, oh gosh, just more distortion, more saturation. You're going to get that Stryper tone. That's what it is. Stryper, there's a lot of gain in there. It'll just go, it'll go on forever. This guy's telling me to crank it, so I'll crank it up a little bit more. Put on a little delay here to cover up all my mistakes and my cold, rusty fingers. Oh man, my fingers are like really stiff. Anyway, so that's the Stryper tone. That's how it came to be. Me stumbling on a lab series, getting a Furman and using that for years, and then now fast forward to 2017, and this is it right here. This is the tone. And if you guys have caught us live in the past 3 or 4 months, you've heard this tone, and I I hope you agree, it is killer. It sounds like a wall of sound coming to tear your face off. It's crazy. Crazy. I'm going to run you through it really quick. I got it set to sweet dry, and then I can kick on delay if I want, have it programmed with delay and chorus, and a boost as well. You go through, there's your output level, your direct, pan, boost, on and off. It's off at the moment. The level you want to set your boost to, 1 dB, 2, 3, 4, it goes all the way up to 10 dB. That's a radical boost. You don't need any more than that. I only set it at 2. Just gives me a little bit of a boost. Preamp distortion, I have it set at vintage. I have 90 dB of gain on there. That's a lot of gain. There's also a knob back here for even more gain, your input level. Sag, makes it sag a little bit more, like a real head and cab. Compression I don't use for dirty. Pre-bass, I cut a lot of that to clean up the distortion. This is pre-distortion EQ. Pre-mid, I add a little bit at 1K. And then I cut out a lot of the high end at 6K. And that just sweetens it up and warms it up a little bit. You got your post EQ, post distortion. It's like your bass, mid, and treble and presence on a head. Okay, I'm adding a lot at 100, and I'm cutting a lot of mids at 670, somewhat narrow. I'm adding a lot at 3K. Okay, and that's just that helps give me my sound. I'm also adding a little bit at 200, in between narrow and wide, so it's grabbing more other than just 200. Some frequencies under, some frequencies above, and then treble, I'm not adding anything. You could cut or add however your ears hear it or want to hear it. I got the decimator on, noise reduction, and I got the speaker simulation on. I got that set to a 412 greenback. I got the wah on, set at 707. It's a preset wah sound. That's another part of the sound. It's that Michael Schenker. You add some Michael Schenker to it, and again, you're going to get that. So that's the wah. I use the wah as well, and that's a big part of the sound. And then you scroll through, you got tremolo in here. I don't use at the moment. Phaser gives you that Eddie sound, Eddie Van Halen. You got chorus, pitch shift, or rotary. You can pick either one you want to use. And at the moment, I'm not using anything. You got flanger, delay, ping pong as well, reverb, lots of different types. You can set your switch for how you want, what you want it to do, and what you want it to control. You got your pedal, expression pedal. You can have as well. I'm not using one at the moment. And you've got your tuner, and then you can go through and adjust your stage speaker sim if you want it. I don't use it for my heads. Why would you do that? It would just take out all your high end. Direct out, trim for your DI, EQ for DI, so more post EQ, global. And then you've got your stage global EQ. So this adjusts what you want to do that feeds your amp. Okay? So anyway, it's got everything you need. All your switching capabilities here, your channel switching, toggle between one channel and back to the one previous. And you hit the second button and you've got your adjustments for your wah, your tap, and your tuner. And when that's off, you got your boost, phaser, rotary, delay, reverb. So you can control everything just like a pedal board. Okay? It's really cool, you guys. It's $1,300. Some people say, wow, that's a lot of money. For what you're getting, it's really not. I'm not trying to be a salesman. I'm just telling you right now, this box sounds amazing. And the only way for you to find that out is to go plug into one or order one and play with it at home. And if you do that, I guarantee you won't be sending it back. Okay, Sweetwater has them right now. You could go to sweetwater.com and pick one up. Type in Michael Sweet, and boom, you're going to see it. It's available now at Sweetwater. So anyway, hey, yeah, chorus. It's got a chorus. You guys asking me about chorus. Of course, it's got a quad chorus. It sounds amazing. That's with the chorus. Yeah, that's the chorus, of course. And the chorus in this unit is outstanding. I have a bunch of pedals over there. My studio is such a mess right now, but I've got every kind of chorus you could imagine. I'm really picky about chorus because what happens with a lot of choruses is they thin out your sound, which is a natural thing. You know, I don't like that. I like to retain the tone but not thin the sound out. This thins it a little bit because it's just, like I said, natural. That's going to happen when you're chorusing your sound. It's a slight delay, you know, basically. So here's without it. Here's with it. This chorus in here just sounds fat and wide and warm, and it's killer. That's another thing that sold me on that. I'm like, okay, what does the chorus sound? What does the chorus sound like? I was really excited. When I turned it on, I'm like, wow. Woo! Got me really excited. The delay is outstanding. It's a really, really warm. I'm going to turn it up so you can hear it even more. I hope you guys aren't bored. You guys bored? I could do this all day. But that's just me. All right, here we go. So I'm going to turn the delay up even more. Even more. I love the delay. The delay is outstanding. Because with digital delay, either it's too bright and harsh, or with analog delay, it's too muddy and dark. This is perfect. It's like a cross between analog and digital. And it just sounds killer. Yes, it has a harmonizer. It's got a pitch shifter. And you can adjust that to do harmonies, or you could adjust it down to where, you know, it's 100% pitch shift, so you can tune down a half step, a whole step, a step and a half, whatever you want to do. It's not a smart harmonizer, though, but it's still outstanding in terms of doing harmonies. You can set it to do octaves or fifths or a third, and it's really killer. Let me put that delay back. Anyway, guys, so put a little chorus on there. Wow, I suck right now. Anyway, that's it, y'all. That is it. Go check it out, guitar players. If you're not a guitar player, go check it out. Maybe you should become a guitar player, because this is an inspiring box. It will blow your mind. And it's limited. They're not going to make very many of these. I don't know exactly how many they're going to make, but I'll tell you this, not very many. All right, it's got my signature on it, yellow and black, ISP MS Theta Pro DSP. You guys, I love you. You guys are awesome. Okay? Stay warm if you're cold. Get warm if you're cold. And get cold if you're warm.